When Jewish boys reach the age of 13, we celebrate that we can finally fulfill the mitzvot, that is, the commandments, and that we are now at the age of adulthood to be able to observe Jewish law. And when you turn 13 in Judaism, you have a ceremony called bar mitzvah at the bar mitzvah. You read a portion of the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible, and the portion I read was because it coincided with my birthday. On the Hebrew date, it was Baishla, which talks about the meeting of Yaakov, the patriarch, with his brother Esav, who wanted to kill him. Well, I remember that Yaakov takes the blessing from Esav, which his father Yitzhak, who couldn't see, gives the blessing and all of that. And that's why Esav wants to finish off Yaakov. So Yaakov escapes, but finally the moment of truth arrives and they have their reunion. What happens is it that the moment of truth is that he's going to face his brother. It is written, and now bringing it into modern times, it is written. Yaakov was afraid and he was afraid. Twice he was afraid. It's written in the same verse. Because the Torah wants to repeat that Yaakov was afraid. Our sages tell us because Yaakov was not only afraid that he would be harmed, but Yaakov was also afraid that he would have to harm Esav. Today, the reality of Israel is very similar. Not only do we not want to be attacked, but Israel as a nation also does not want to and is not pleased at all in any way to have to attack others. Look at all the measures that Israel takes in war, having to do this and that and giving warnings, all the measures, because honestly, the last thing Israel wants is to take lives, unlike our enemies, whose desire is to destroy, Alright, so what happens in this scene? There's a moment when Yaakov is left alone. How is he left? Alone? He's on the bank of a river, you could say, and he wrestles with an angel, as it's written. This is Genesis 35. And then Yaakov defeats the angel. Even though the word Ish is written, which means a person, but it's an angel, and it's written that Yaakov. He grabs him before the angel leaves because it's about to dawn. And the angel tells him, blesses him, and says, that's it. Your name will no longer be Yaakov, but Israel, and here Yaakov becomes Israel. What is all this? What is this whole story about Yaakov, Israel, the fight? I'm going to tell you from the beginning how Yaakov starts to develop, up to the point where he becomes Israel. I want to tell you how Yaakov begins. It is written that the description of Yaakov is Jacob Ishtam Yosef Oalim, which means a simple person who sits in the tent, that is, he is simple. He was immersed in study, while his brother Esav was the opposite. He was a person of the field, a hunter, more of a fighter, you could say. And they were fighting, each one for 2 worlds. And that's what's written. When their mother was pregnant, Rivka, Rebecca in Spanish, it's written that the children fought in her womb. Why? Our sages say it's because they wanted both worlds. Which worlds did they want? They were fighting for both worlds, for the world to come and for this world. Those are the 2 worlds in Judaism. What is the world of Esav? Which world did Esav want? Well, one might say he wanted the other world and Yaakov wanted this world, but isn't it the other way around? That maybe Yaakov wanted the world to come and Esav wanted this world? The answer is no. Both of them wanted both worlds. Esav wanted this world and the world to come. Yaakov wanted this world and the world to come. That is the struggle between Esav and Yaakov. Those who know the Torah more deeply understand that these are names, codes. Esav represents something and Yaakov is Israel. Okay, I'll close that parenthesis, but this is already for advanced users. What happens is that Esav, in reality, is complete in this world. Esav already has this world. Think, for example, of Rome. We associate Esav with Edom and with Rome. The West already has this world. They develop societies, technology, but they have a thirst, that is to seek the world to come. Esav constantly tries to seek the world to come, but he is already complete in this world. Yaakov is the opposite. Yaakov is complete in the world to come with Israel and Shlem. Helek already has the world to come, but he wants this world and things don't go well for him in this world. It's like the story of Israel with the West. You could say the West seeks the West. They even develop a religion to seek the world to come. Why? How? They do very well. They create legions in this world. They create architecture in this world, development in this world. But they seek the world to come. They seek a messianic idea that will give them the world to come in all its forms. You could even say, even in more atheistic forms, like Marxism, or whatever it may be, Yaakov, on the other hand, since we already have the world to come, we seek this world. But Yaakov, for 2,000 years, could not be in this world, only Yaakov. He was scattered for 2000 years, being persecuted, searching, and so on, and he couldn't have that rest in order to begin to act in this world. Then the Torah tells us that Yaakov, as is taught in the commentaries, in quotes, deceives Esav, or Yaakov's mother tells him, well, I'll tell you the whole scene. The father of Yaakov and Esav was Yitzchak, Isaac in Spanish, and his eyes became dim, meaning he was blind in quotes. Are there explanations? What does this mean? But what Yitzchak did is that he asks his son, Esav, he says, go and hunt an animal and bring it to me. Cooked, something like that. So, Esav, since he respected his parents, even though he had other very negative traits, he had one virtue, which was respecting his parents. And he went to find the animal for Yitzchak on the hunt, to prepare it for him the way he liked. What did the mother do? Meanwhile, Rivka said to Yaakov, Yaakov, I'm going to prepare something for you to give to your father, a meal he really likes, and he will give you the blessing. And Yaakov says, no, but he'll see that it's me. And she says, no, put this on. And she put some fur on him because Esav was hairy, so she put animal fur on him so he would feel it. So Rivka comes and sends Yaakov with this, and Yitzchak eats it, and Yitzchak says, 1 second, who are you? Are you my son? Are you Esav? And he says, yes, I am Esav, your firstborn. And all this, he says, come, let me feel you, because his eyes were dim, so let me feel you. And he feels him. And he says, it's the voice of Yaakov, but the hands are Esav's. And he gives him the blessing. Then Yaakov receives the blessing, leaves, and then Esav arrives with the food. And he says to him, look, father, give me the blessing. And his father Yitzchak says to Esav, I already gave the blessing. I can give you another blessing, that you will live by your sword. And all this, Isaac, who did he want to bless? Esav or Yaakov? The truth is, it doesn't matter, as long as this person had the voice of Yaakov and the hands of Esav. What does it mean to have the actions of this world, but the inner self of Yaakov? That is because just Esav, with his inner self, with his hands in this world, is not enough for this world. Yaakov, just with his aspiration but without action, is not enough. But if you have the action of Esav and the inspiration of Yaakov and the inner self of Yaakov, that is the model that Yitzchak was looking for, meaning it didn't matter if the blessing was given by Yitzchak or to Yaakov. What mattered was that it was the combination of both. Time goes by, Yaakov also has to go through other processes related to the economic process. In the house of Lavan, Genesis 30 and 31, but we move on to Genesis 32. Yaakov stays. We revisit the scene where he wrestles the angel. We come to a moment when Yaakov must fight. Not only does Yaakov prepare for war, as Genesis 32 says at the beginning. He prepares all the camps, divides them, and is ready to fight with Esav. But Yaakov was not a man of war. For 2000 years, Yaakov did not fight. For 2000 years, Yaakov was secluded, studying all these books behind, studying the Talmud. That is, in Yaakov's time, there was no Talmud yet. But you understand what I'm saying, studying these worlds, and that one day he would arrive in the land of Israel. Because just as Yaakov was in Laban's house, he was being exploited by Laban, because Yaakov wanted to marry Laban's daughters and they deceived him. So Yaakov was in exile, and he was a person of study. He was like a simple man who was in the yeshiva and all that. But the moment of truth arrived. The time came to enter the land of Israel, because Yaakov escapes from Laban's house to enter the land of Israel. That's the context. Yaakov, before entering the land of Israel, it's the encounter with Esav that is for you to enter the land of Israel. You can't do it with just the miracle and all that, and with all the books and the Talmud. You have to be in this world, you have to be grounded, and you also have to understand that this has to be the source that inspires us and leads us. Without a doubt, I say this as an Orthodox rabbi, but we have to be grounded. There can't be redemption without being prepared to fight. It's not possible. So Yaakov prepares the camps, and when the time comes, Yaakov fights with the angel. Who was that angel? Bereshit Rabbah, the Midrash, says it was Esav's angel. How? So was Esav's angel the representation of Esav? And that's the one who blesses him, meaning that Yaakov takes Esav's angel, blesses him and says, why did you fight with God? We see that here Yaakov moved from his, let's say, exilic religious stage to his national stage, to Israel when Israel already has the ability to understand that he can go into combat, that he must be prepared for any eventuality, even when Yaakov doesn't want to go to war, even when he has no appetite for war. And we see this in Genesis 34. When the sons of Yaakov, Shimon and Levi, they attack all of Shem, Yaakov, he doesn't feel comfortable with that and tells them, listen, because of this, there's going to be a geopolitical blow. It's going to be very bad. Everything you did, I don't know if you remember with the violation of Dinah, that's a separate chapter and we'll talk about it later. But Israel, the Jew, we can't just be the ones with our heads bowed like that. The Jew is gone, now it's Israel. And that, by the way, is one of the views, one of the perspectives that Islam has about the Jew. I'm going to tell you in general how the Jew is seen in Islam. There are two terms to refer to us, Banu Israel, which means the children of Israel. Banu Israel is like this people of prophets, but who behaved badly, and that's why they were punished. But in the Quran, they are a people of very high status. But there is another group called Al-Yahud, which are the Jews, and the Jews, on the contrary, unlike Banu Israel, the Jews are considered as inferior, as bad, as negative, as a negative environment. Islam for 1,400 years got used to seeing us as the Yahud, as the Jew. But, and that is true, because during those 1,400 years, we were a Yaakov who could be trampled on and would not raise his head, but remained silent, working in Laban's house and waiting for the day when he could return to the land of Israel, to leave the house of exile and return to the land of Israel. But that time came, in 1948, Yaakov rose up and we became Banu Israel again. So, for the Muslims watching this, because there are Muslims watching this and there will be Muslims watching this live, get used to the fact that we are not Al-Yahud, whom you could trample on and who were dhimmi. Get used to it, because we have returned. We have returned to the promise that was given to us in the Quran. From them, Allah or Hashem, that our essence and our reality and our nature is in the land of Israel. Al-Yahud, the Jew, has become Banu Israel again. Once again, we are Israel. We are the people of Israel. So, to our Muslim friends, if they understood that Allah has His promise with us, with Banu Israel, this conflict would be resolved. Why? Because theologically they are reluctant towards the Yahud, because Yahud was the one they could trample on, but not anymore. Now we are Banu Israel, and Banu Israel has a position of respect in the Islamic ethos. So if you Muslims want to resolve the conflict, understand that you have finally come face to face with Banu Israel again, and you have the justification in your own sources. To treat us well, that's it. And for those who don't want to treat us well, you already know the consequence, as has happened with all our enemies over these 78 years. The same thing happens in the struggle with Esav. Esav has this world and the world to come, while Yahud has the world to come but wants this world. Israel begins to lay the foundations and set foot in this world, and that's it. There is a midrash that says that in Hebron, in the cave of the patriarchs, 4 couples are buried, Adam and Eve. That is, it's the beginning, humanity. In other words, it's the universal vision of the world. In Hebron, there is Abraham with his wife Sarah, Yitzhak with Rivka, that is the patriarchs of Israel, and Yaakov with Leah. Because Rahel was buried on the way. Rahel is that woman who cries for Israel to return to the land of Israel because she is on the way. But there, in the Midrash, it says that there are other things. There is something else in the cave of the patriarchs in Hebron. And it's the head of Esav. The Midrash says that when they went to bury Yaakov, Esav came to the burial, not with bad intentions, or well, it's ambiguous what you read there. But in any case, one of the sons, actually, it's a grandson. There are 2 versions, different ones, the Midrash in the Tanchuma and this one. But he takes a shovel and cuts off his head, the son of Dan. He cuts off Esav's head because he thinks Esav is coming to cause trouble, because Esav is going to try to kill Yaakov. Yes, and he comes and cuts off Esav's head with the shovel, and the head rolls and ends up inside Machpelah, the cave. What does this Midrash teach us? That for Israel to be complete, and in truth, he also needs the head of Esav. That is, he needs this way of analyzing and approaching things. In this world, because Esav is complete, in this world we don't need all the joints of Esav, the world can have those. That is, there can be one who makes technology, a country that makes, music. But the way to make a nation must also be incorporated by Israel. I know I'm speaking in a lot of codes, and I know I've said things that are a bit more for those who understand. I'm sure you, with your experience in Jewish philosophy, understand what I mean. All right. Well, Yaakov becomes Israel, and the time comes to meet Esav, and eventually he meets Esav. And what does Esav do? Esav, it says in the Torah that he falls on his neck and cries and gives him a kiss. That's what the Midrash says. That when Esav was going to kiss him, in the Torah there are dots above. That is, in the Torah it is written with some dots above. The word is that when Esav was going to kiss him, he tried to bite him, but to kill him, because Esav still wanted to kill Yaakov, but Yaakov's neck became hard. Like, how do you say sheish? How do you say it in Spanish? Anyway? And he tried to bite him, and Esav's teeth broke, and that's why Esav cried, because his teeth broke. What does this midrash mean? There are times when Esav, when he sees that Yaakov is weak, limping, hurt, Esav is moved and cries because he feels compassion for him. For example, on October 7th, or for example, after the Holocaust. Or all the moments when Yaakov limping just hurt and just fought, when Yaakov is just, that is, has been attacked. Esav feels compassion, but Esav, halasha, Esav is Yaakov, says Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says that the halakha is that Esav hates Israel. That is the halacha. So Esav, despite that, he tries to finish off Yaakov. That is, even after October 7th, even after this, Esav wants to finish off Yaakov. So, but Hashem protects us. He performs miracles for us, which save us so that he cannot do that, and all his attempts are in vain. That's the end of the class. I hope I didn't speak in too many codes, but you understand that Yaakov, now Israel, we came back home, we became strong again, we have a country again. And may we reach the days when the prophecy of the prophet Obadiah is fulfilled. That's the end of the life. I hope you learned, that you understood some of the codes I mentioned, because I wasn't very explicit, but I hope it's clearer. The more Torah knowledge you have, the more you will understand. I send you greetings from Israel. Shavua Tov with joy.